Fletch, you're coming off snapping this 3-game losing streak, 33-25 over the New York Giants. Not necessarily easy in the second half, but tell us just about the feeling in the locker room after that game. Is it a little bit more, boy, why did we have to make that so hard? Or is it more, okay, like we got the win that we needed, now we can sort of turn the page?
I mean, first off, winning in this league is hard, right? No matter who you're playing or what day you're playing on, but the biggest thing is, we got the win, right? But we made it so hard on ourselves, coming out. And, I feel like, as a team, we started slow in the second half. We didn't come out with enough fire and to kind of put the game away. But we found a way to win. And that's kind of been our deal like all year, right? We've been willing our way to wins. And that's the part you enjoy about it, and finding out how close the team is and, and what happened in those type of situations, and we talk about that a lot. But we found a way to close the game out. I'm sure we made a lot of fans sit on the edge of their seats, which they've been doing all year.
Christmas was a little more stressful than they were hoping.
A lot more stressful. A little more gray hair, but we got the win, and that's what's important.
It's in that locker room after the game. It was interesting hearing different perspectives. Some guys were like, we're not playing well. This is unacceptable. Some guys like Brandon Graham said there's no almost or barely column. You either win or you lose, right? Where do you kind of fall on it? Do you look at it like there's a lot you guys need to clean up, or just appreciate the fact that you guys won?
I'm going to repeat what Coach said last night, and before everybody got in the locker room: a win is a win, a win is a win, a win is a win, a win is a win. And that's what he started his post game speech with. And you have to respect that. We won the game, and back to what I just said, that just so hard to win in this league, and you have to appreciate every moment of it.
We did not have a chance to talk to you last week, Fletch, and so we got to talk about the change in the defensive coaching staff, moving from Sean Desai as the signal caller to Matt Patricia. First of all, I guess, what was your reaction when that decision was made? And then, how different is, the day-to-day, how differently are things being run with Matt Patricia? I mean,
we just so much respect for Sean, right? And you can't put it all on Sean, right? Us as players, I think we failed him because his job was to call a defense. Our job was, to execute the play that was called. And there's so many people, so many players in that locker room that's got his back. And he got us 10 wins, right? He got us 10 wins, a bunch of turnovers, and won a bunch of close games that we closed out. We can't forget about that, right? We can't forget about during training camp and everything that we did, and so much respect for Sean Desai. But at the end of the day, there was a decision that was made, and as a pro, you have to just approach everything as it's just the next day, right? Or just a new voice in the room. And Coach Matty P, he's a new voice in the room. He's a new play caller on defense, and it just you appreciate him so much. And you have to move on to new things, new voices. And we're running the same scheme that we've been running. Obviously, maybe come in just maybe a tad different, but it's the same Sean Desai scheme that we've ran all year. And the guys are embracing it and having fun doing it.
And following up on that, it's not like you brought in someone from the outside. Patricia has been here since the spring. He helped install the scheme during the offseason. What do you know about him? And he's kind of been on the other sideline for most of your career. How have you gotten to know him during the past few months?
It's not even about the last few months. Me and Patricia, we talk daily. Before this decision was made, we talked daily about ball, about life, about everything. And so it was kind of an easy transition for me, knowing him, knowing about him. Let's be honest, the guy's been to 9 Super Bowls, won 4 or 5 of them, so he know what he's doing, right? And just about those conversations and having with him, the respect I have for him, and he's not afraid to call anybody out. It don't matter who you are. He's one of those coaches he's gonna push your best players. He expect the best players and expect the leaders to lead. Sean Desai was the same. He was exactly the same. And we're looking forward to it. His second game in. Now we get another week we all get another week to grow as a defense. And as and as an entire unit, to hear his voice on the sideline, and we're all excited for it.
A quick follow-up there. In his first press conference last week, he said that he saw you practice earlier in the season, and he was thinking when you came out, and he wished he had his hands on you back then, right? Like, is he someone you knew back when you were coming out of college?
Man, it's a really good relationship with me and Matty P. There's so much respect for him, as a coach and as a man. He's been in this league a long time. He's won a lot. And, and my standard of practice is I hold myself to a standard of practice, right? I fly around. I'm physical in practice. I want to lead. I want to lead everybody, and I think that's the thing that he respects about me. And me and him can have conversations as men. Player to coach, coach to player, man to man, and be honest with each other. And that's the thing that I really respect about him.
That said, I think there are probably a lot of people who were thinking 10 years ago, I wish they could have drafted Fletcher Cox. It's not like some crazy thing for Matt Patricia to say. But personality-wise, how is he different at all in terms of like leading the meeting room than Sean was?
Yeah, it's different, right? Each coach is different. Our presentation of and when we are in, the defensive meetings, the assistants. They kind of open up the game plan, where Desai he opened up everything and led the defense the same. But now it's the assistants kind of open up, and then Matt come up, install everything, and as say both coaches leave it up to your position coach to reinstall what they just put in, and that way we're crisp on what we're doing when we get to the walkthrough.
We were talking about this. It's kind of interesting, full circle wise, that your first year in the league, there's a defensive coordinator change midseason. Here we are, all this time later, it happens again. But I think this goes to something that you talk about often, that maybe we on the outside overrate the influence of the coaches, and it is in the end about the players.
It is. The biggest thing is it's always about the players executing the plan, right? And we have to lean on each other. Coaches got to lean on us. We have to lean on the coaches, and that's the biggest part of I've understood about this league being in it for a decade plus is we still have to go out and execute the game plan at the highest level that we're getting paid to do, and you have to understand that.
And to narrow in on that even more, I can't tell the audience how many times over the past 10 years, 12 years, you said it starts with the D-line, right? Everything kind of starts up front. That's the group where the Eagles spend their money on defense. That's where the high draft picks are. How do you think the front's playing right now, and what do you guys need to do over these next few weeks to be ready for the playoffs?
I think we're playing okay. I think there's another. I think that we can all, including myself, can play better. I think we can all, take over a game. I just feel like there hasn't been a point in this season just yet where the defensive line has taken over the entire game. Individually, we've had some guys make some plays, and close games out for us. Sweaty, Haas, BG, everybody's, we've had our fair share of individually of taking over a game, but I don't think we've collectively as a group just completely just dominated the entire game, and I think that time is coming. I know that time's coming, and I believe that time's coming, and I'm really ready to see it.
And is that sort of just faith in the guys themselves? Is it about like a cohesive plan across the group? What gives you that faith?
Just playing as a group. I think every week we're growing, right? And especially in the D-tackle room, you look at the experience in that room, and I think, it's funny that I say this. If you look at my experience, is 12 years, and BG's 14 to 15?
Mm-hmm, 14, yeah.
And that's the D ends. You look at my experience and his experience, it's almost 30 years of experience where you got Jordan,
right,
Jalen, Milton,
right,
Marlon, Ojamo, everybody's in that room.
And Milton's the next experience.
It
most
don't
experienced
even
guys
add up
year.
to what
Yeah.
I've been played,
Right.
And that's the thing that this team is, this young group is challenging, right? And then those guys are getting better every week. And, and I always challenge those guys to come in every day, practice, and try to teach them how to be pros, young pros, most importantly, young men, and try to show them the way.
There was the play from yesterday where Jalen is not quick enough getting off the field on the 12-man on the field penalty, and Nick is sort of going after him because that's the kind of thing where you expect him to be able to get off the field in time. Is that something where you as a veteran go over and talk to him about it, or it's like he knows what he needed to do there?
Well, just, the coaches handled it, and I think the coaches handled it well. Once the penalty, once the flag got thrown, I kind of know that was, it was just kind of one of them deals where, it was, the defense had to go back out and try to get a stop. Obviously, I think that's a mistake that Jalen will grow from. We all know he'll grow from it because, that was just one of them things where, the defense didn't have to take those 5, 6, 7, extra snaps and give our offense, another possession once they punt the ball to score. But I think those are things that, he'll learn from. I'll talk to him about getting off the field on that because teams are looking at that type of stuff. They got scouts too. We learn from it, we move on, and then, hopefully it don't happen again.
In staying on the defense, there's so many young guys now who are taking on bigger roles. It's more kind of the secondary and the linebackers, but you see, Keely Ringo had the interception last night. Sidney Brown's playing a lot of snaps. The linebackers you keep shuffling in. Who are some of the young players who are going to be key for this group down the stretch?
I'll say this. I think the biggest thing is we get some guys back. Okay. And I think we get 29 back this week. Mm-hmm. Going into it, hopefully, how we let him out of the cage. Hopefully he's healthy enough. I think we'll get Zach Cunningham back. We'll get Slay back within the next couple of weeks heading into this long stretch. I think Nick Morrow, he'll be all right. And, most importantly, I think Shaq played at a really, really high level on yesterday. He brought a lot of energy. Even Ben, Ben made some plays for us. Young guys that stepped in. Sidney, he made some plays. Keely's been playing solid for the last 2 weeks. So it's all about the growth of everybody and the confidence. And I think these last few weeks, these young guys, and they've just been going in the game with so much confidence, and I'll have so much respect for that.
You mentioned 29. That's Avonte Maddox, and that's someone who, when I talk to you guys, you keep bringing up, and you've kind of played the whole season without him. What is that addition going to do to the defense?
It's going to do a lot. Like Vontae is like one of my good friends. I'm not as close.
You were like lighting up right now for the audio listeners. You're like the mention of Avonte Maddox. You are like smiling more than you have.
What's crazy is like Vontae is one of my really good friends. I'm not as close as him and Dallas is, but me and Vontae.
Who is? Yeah.
Actually, Vontae stay in the same little town, so
okay.
I convinced him to move over there. He loved the city, in Mullica Hill. So, but I'm looking forward to watching him come back and play. His desire, his just seeing him in the training room, doing this whole process. And I told him the other day, I'm so proud of you. The way that he attacked his rehab, and he's able to come back, and hopefully I'll let him come back, and we'll have him back.
It is true, and this is something that I need to remind myself of, that it is not about who is the best team over the course of the season, right? It's about who is the best team at the right time. And if you're getting all these guys back, there was reason to believe that some things can turn around there. I do want to ask you one thing about the cameras caught Hassan and Nick and Jeremiah sort of talking back and forth at the end of the game. I don't need to know about the specifics of that conversation, but just in general, we only see so much of the cameras are only seeing so much of the whole arc of the week for you guys, the whole arc of the season. Can you sort of contextualize those types of conversations, how often those difficult conversations have happen, and how easily you guys are able to sort of move past them?
I didn't hear about the whole conversation. I saw some stuff going on the sideline, but I think my most important deal was, it was a timeout, and I was just trying to get the call and make sure I got lined up. I didn't read into it. I think it's the last, the game-winning drive for them. I was just trying to get lined up, and, I think I was on the field for 8 plays straight. So basically trying to catch my
right.
breath, trying to get the call, get lined up, making sure I'm doing what I need to do to try to help this team win. I really wasn't caught up in it.
But in terms of what portion of the job is having those difficult conversations?
It's hard. It's always hard to anybody. And doing the heated time of the game, doing whatever's going on. But you just kind of got to move on. You talk about it after the game, or depends on what happened. I don't know what scenario, what was going on, what that conversation was about. So, we won the game, and I think that's the most important thing.
Outside the locker room on this show, fans, they're scoreboard watching right now. They're saying, well, if the Eagles win out, Dallas loses and Detroit loses, they can get the 1 seed. And there's all these different combinations. Inside the locker room, do you guys pay attention to those combinations?
No, I think the conversation in their locker room is how can we get better as a team, and you know we know JG's coming to town and he's gonna probably come and try to spoil something, right? You know I got a lot of respect for him, and you know I played. You know he's a great coach, great friend. So we got to know that they're coming here to win, right? So our focus need to be on how can we get better as a team. You know, what do we take our mistakes from last week and learn from them, get better from them. We know they got to fly across the country, and you know they're not going to feel sorry for us. They're not going to feel sorry for themselves, right? They're coming off a tough loss, and you know this team we coming off a strappy win. So we just got to focus on us getting better each day, and focus on you know. What's next for us? We
will have to work on our JG. Johnny Gans is coming to town. Song parody for Santa Claus is coming to town. We'll work on that for next week. But in terms of the holidays, Zach thought about this. You've been in the locker rooms for a long time. We see often like the gifts to teammates and stuff like that. Is there one thing that comes to mind as like the best gift you've received from a teammate in the locker room, or maybe the best you've given?
I mean, I've given away some cool stuff. I can't give away my gift this year yet. We haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But it's a pretty cool gift.
Okay.
I think you know the guy like it. But like I said, like you know, during my days, you know, when I were making Pro Bowls consistently, you know, I would get the entire group something, coaches included, like you know, all the D linemen and the coaches included. A couple years ago, I got everybody chains with their number on it and their last name, and then it was their option to get diamonds in it. I was not paying for I was not paying for your necklace to get iced out.
Yeah,
but it was a decent option. But I mean, I've always given out stuff when I went to the Pro Bowls. You know, even if it's you know bags or nice bags. You know, when guys really didn't have MacBooks or laptops or stuff like that. So I would go out and spend a pretty good amount on it and guys would appreciate that.
You don't need to get Josh Sweat a laptop. He'll
you know
make
what?
his own.
You know what? The crazy part is Josh Sweat and Javon Hargrave made Pro Bowls, and yeah, we still were not Pro Bowl gifts.
Are there fouls like if somebody's just giving you something that like is a sponsor of theirs and they're like is that like looked down upon, or is that
you got to open the checkbook to spend 30 or 40 grand, appreciate the guys that help you get to where you got, you know, and I'm still. So, you know, Hargrave and Sweat, I'm still waiting on my Pro Bowl gift from a couple years ago. So, you know.
We'll clip that and put that out so Josh and Javon see that.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
This is the real heart of the Eagles-Niners rivalry. It's nothing about anything else. It's just where is the Pro Bowl gift from Javon?
Well, it's mandatory, right? It's mandatory. You make it to the Pro Bowl, you give you guys in your room gifts. I think a lot of guys do
This is good to know.
Now, elsewhere in the locker room, who I either got or gave the best gift, one that like the D lineman looked at and said, "Man, I wish I played that position."
You know who's a good gifter?
Who's that?
Josh Sweat.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. What's the best one he's given?
Well, I think last year we have Secret Santas.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So he gives he gave his guy last year like BG like some really nice stuff. You know, he took his time and gifted it out, and I'm like, man, I wish that would have been me. You know. But
so is it just in the position group line? Like
yeah,
room?
Just in the position group. Yeah. And I think Jay Hurst got all of this year. It was nice. I wish I was an O-lineman this year. He gave
the O-linemen get taken care of.
They all got Rolexes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So maybe I need to play O-line for them.
It's nice to be the people protecting the guy who makes the most money.
Yeah, a couple snaps and get me a rollie. You know.
Where if you had to play a snap on offense, where are you lining up?
Oh, receiver. Yeah, just put me out there. I could say I played one snap of receiver.
Slay got to play a snap, a couple of times. That's
what. Don't put me in motion though, because I don't want to do all that running.
You don't have to worry about that.
No, just line me up out there.
Yeah.
You know
don't
what I
do much
mean?
motion.
I just want the picture. That's all I want. I just want the picture.
Yeah.
That's
all
it.
Right. I like that. Well, Fletch preparing for Johnny Gans this week as you guys look to close the season strong again. You go from playing on Christmas to New Year's, but you finally get a 1:00 game.
Thank you, NFL, for finally giving us a 1:00 game.
You have to be home New Year's Eve.
This late in the season, because I feel like I played.
This is the first 1:00 game since when, Zach?
The Washington game, right?
For home since Washington.
Yeah, since the Washington game.
Yeah, but
And
At home since
there's
Washington.
nothing like waking up and going to play football.